Hello, welcome back to Brain Dump. This is episode 17. If you've made it this far, congratulations. 17 episodes. The big 1-7, the age that most songs are about. This is Brain Dump. My name is Nicole. Brain Dump is basically a podcast where I dump out my collective thoughts for the week and you listen to them by choice, of course. So I had some trouble thinking about what I wanted to do for this week's episode. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's cover One Direction discography for those of you who are One Direction fans. And for those of you who don't give a shit about One Direction, this is for you to listen and educate yourself because this is really important for you to know in the future and just forever, essentially. So let's get into first our weekly recap. For our weekly recap, I have written down not very many things because not very many things have happened since the last episode besides one big thing that I'm going to go divulge into in a second. But let's go. First thing, had a very boring weekend. I tried to not really spend money this past weekend, so I stayed in a lot for the majority of it. And I was just watching TV and my movies and some shows and the big, staying in weekend. The only time I really went out was when I wanted food because it's the weekend. I don't want to fucking cook. You know what I mean? And I have had an $80 Taco Bell gift card that I've been using since March. So I like to, every once in a while, spoil myself to some free Taco Bell. So that's what I pretty much did. Had the crumble flavors of last week. Wow. They were okay. They weren't too bad. I liked almost all of them. I'm not really a peanut butter girl. So anything peanut butter really just doesn't appeal to me, which is crazy because I love Reese's Cups. But that's the only time I'm okay with peanut butter and Butterfingers. I don't consider Butterfinger real peanut butter though. But also Reese's peanut butter isn't really peanut butter either if you think about it. But anyway, yeah. Very uneventful weekend, very quiet, reserved rest and relaxation day, weekend. That's really what it was. Another thing, my April rebrand, not looking so hot. Not looking so hot because there isn't really much happening. Also, I just haven't gotten around to changing much about myself besides my haircut. And I still haven't even dyed my hair, which I think I'm going to end up bleaching my hair, but I'm going to do a test strand and then go from there. But I really do need some change soon, or I just need money. I just need money to solve all my problems right now. You know the vibe. But yeah, financially, we're not looking too hot. So of course, the rebrand is not looking too hot. I finished Modern Family. I think we finished the whole show in under 3 months, which is crazy. I think honestly almost 2 months maybe. I feel like we started watching it in February or the beginning of March, but I really can't pinpoint when we started watching it. All I know is we're done watching it, and I'm really sad that it's over, but I loved the show. I would totally rewatch it any day, and I totally recommend everyone else watches it because it's a really nice, it's a good thing to have on in the background, or if you don't want to think too hard, you just watch it. It's really funny. So I recommend it. Now for my problem, my big spending problem that I had to deal with this week's spending problem. So, to start off, I have a cat, right? You guys all know her, Kirby. The housing apartment complex that I live in, it's university, like, it's I forget what the name is. It's just like, it's under university, like, ownership, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's university housing. That's the simplest way I can put it. And so a lot of university housing doesn't allow you to have pets in your apartment. And if they do allow you to have pets, you have to pay like a fee, and then like a one-time fee, and then you pay like pet rent essentially every month. In my last apartment that I lived in, I snuck my cat in there and like didn't have any problems with it really. That is also because there was another cat in my apartment that wasn't mine. So that was no cause of concern to maintenance and the people who owned the apartment complex. But once I moved to this new place, it was obviously just going to be Kirby. And I didn't really care too much to be like worried that I would be bringing Kirby here, even though it's technically a no pets allowed type of apartment complex. Like, you really can't have pets at all. The reason I wasn't really scared about this was because there's so many people here who like openly have their pets like displayed. Like, people will be walking their big ass fucking dogs all the time, and no one really seems to care about it. So I figured, why would they care about a little cat? It's the least of my worries. Fast forward to this month. Fast forward to this week. Okay. And some more backstory. Our apartment complex does bi-monthly inspections just to like make sure that the furniture's looking good, that there aren't like any maintenance problems that need to be sorted, like just to generally maintain the upkeep of the apartment and like note any sort of problems within the apartment. And usually when these bi-monthly inspections happen, one of us is home. They like usually will come at a designated time on a designated day, but like we always coincide with each other's schedules. Like, they're always here when we're here, or like one of us is here. So we always see when they come in. And we never really care to like put Kirby away or anything. Like, it's never a thought in my mind. And so the guy that usually comes, that's been doing them, he honestly doesn't seem to care about Kirby. Like, he actually likes her. He like never reported it or anything, like me having a cat, until I guess the person who did the most recent bi-monthly inspection, which I guess wasn't the guy that usually comes in. And so I was served, I actually have the paper with me. I was served 7-day notice of non-compliance with the opportunity to cure. You are hereby notified that you are not complying with your lease, in that unauthorized pets are not allowed and must be removed from the premises. To sum up this letter, basically, I violated my lease agreement, or the terms of my lease agreement, because I have a cat, which in the lease agreement is not allowed. And if I want to have the cat here, I have to present proper documentation that like she is like legally like has to be with me, or like is an emotional support animal. Otherwise, I would get evicted. That's what literally it says on here. Like they would terminate my lease within 7 days. And so yeah, they just like made this very menacing threat to me. They were like, oh, if you don't send in documents, then like you gotta go. So what did I do? I hopped on the internet because I've been, what's it called? I've been putting off making Kirby an ESA because I just never felt like it was necessary. And here we are. So I had to basically go on this website. It's called usserviceanimals.org. It's an org, okay? It's not a com, it's an org, so it's serious. And practically had to pay a lot of fucking money to get an ESA certificate to prove that Kirby is an emotional support animal. And then I also had to get a letter from a doctor recognizing that I'm a disabled person who needs this emotional support animal with them legally. So they have no jurisdiction over, obviously, what, my living situation is, or, they can't, vacate me from the premises. So the certificate itself was $120. The doctor's letter, $180. Yeah, it was not a cheap thing. And then to top it all off, then my apartment complex decided that they were going to charge me $100 for violating this lease agreement. Give me 1 second. Let me fix myself. Yeah. So they were like, we're going to charge you $100 and you have to pay it in regards to your lease, your little lease problem, your lease. Yeah, just my lease problem. And so what's the total racking up to? Too much fucking money is what the total is racking up to. Almost $400 just to legally have my cat here. Now, I could have avoided this a long time ago if I had just signed her up as an ESA from the get-go, but I didn't. So I learned my lesson in a very expensive way. I sent over all the paperwork to them and they approved it. And so here we are now. Down almost $400, but Kirby can now legally live with me. Yeah. Can't believe the time's finally come. She is no longer illegally here. So that is my little story time. I just fucking hate my housing and I'm so glad. I can't wait to move out. I think it's really crazy that they charged me, or that they finally decided that Kirby was not supposed to be here 3 months before my rent ends, before my lease ends here. It's really shady. It's really fucked up because those $300 to $400 I could have used to pay rent. But instead, I now have an ESA. So I will be getting her little ESA ID card in the mail soon. So stay tuned to for the next episode. I'll probably show it for the visual listeners. That's pretty much my weekly recap. Now we're going to dive into movie recap since the last episode. I've watched a couple movies. I watched Knock at the Cabin. I gave it a 5 out of 10. It's really I haven't seen a lot of M. Night Shyamalan movies, but I don't think I like his movies, or I don't like the way he directs his movies. I don't know. I haven't found one that I like. I definitely didn't like this one that much. I just think Dave Bautista really fucking ruined it, or made it weird. I just wasn't the biggest fan of this film. Yeah. Then I watched Fantastic Mr. Fox, give that an 8 out of 10. It's really cute and a very good animated movie if you're looking for an animated movie to watch. That's pretty short. It's only, I think, an hour and a half or something like that. But it's really good. It has a good meaning, background to it. So I would recommend it if you are into that. And then we have I Love You Man, which is a kind of like rom-com-ish. I don't know if I would describe it as a rom-com, but it kind of, like, it has elements of it. It has Paul Rudd, Rashida Jones, and the main reason I watched the movie, Jason Segel in it. Kind of forgettable movie, but I did like the plot. It's not like it's not like any plot I've ever seen before in a rom-com. To sum it up, or to give you like a little backstory to like maybe entice you to watch it. It's basically a film where Paul Rudd is getting engaged to Rashida Jones, and Rashida Jones has like a really nice like friend group. Like, she's really close to her friends. She loves her friends, but Paul Rudd doesn't really share the same kind of luck. He kind of doesn't really have any friends at all. He just thinks it's very difficult to find male friends, which I understand. I side with him. And he's looking for a guy to be his best man at his wedding. And he is also a realtor. And he bumps into Jason Segel during an open house. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to like tell you the whole movie. But Jason Segel obviously plays a big role in the movie. I would say it's kind of like a coming of age rom-com. That's kind of the best way to describe it. But yeah, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It was okay. Next movie, I just really watched the randomest assortments of movies in the last week. I watched The House Bunny, which has, I forget her name, Anna Faris? I think that's her name. It has Anna Faris, Kat Dennings, Emma Stone. It's basically about a Playboy model, Anna Faris, who thinks she gets kicked out of the Playboy mansion. So she decides that like she was an orphan prior. Like, she grew up in the Playboy mansion, so she doesn't know what a normal life outside of the Playboy mansion looks like. So she decides to become a sorority house mother to this sorority group of misfits. And yeah, it's okay. 5 out of 10. That's my rating for the movie. And those are all the movies I've seen since the last episode. Hopefully see some better ones by next time. I definitely really, really am looking forward to watching Beau's Afraid, but I won't be able to watch it this weekend. And I'm really sad because I want to watch it as soon as I can, just because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, but it is also almost a 3-hour-long movie. If you haven't heard of Beau's Afraid, it's supposed to be kind of like a thriller horror situation where Beau, the main character, has to go like see his mom, and like the whole journey, we follow him through the whole journey, and it's like takes like the weirdest turns. Apparently it has Joaquin Phoenix in it, and it's directed by Ari Aster, who is the director of Midsommar and I think Hereditary. So it looks like it might be good, but again, heard mixed reviews. I don't care what the mixed reviews are. Like, I just really want to see the movie. I love Joaquin Phoenix. But yeah. Now let's get into this week's episode. This week's episode is going to be, obviously, like I mentioned previously, about One Direction. It's going to be covering One Direction's discography. So if you're not a One Direction fan, turn off the podcast now. I gave you 20 minutes of warning time. But we're going to be going through all of One Direction, specifically their music. I would love to dedicate an entire episode to just the lore of One Direction, because there is a lot, I'd say. There is so much. I want to just preface by saying I used to be a huge One Direction fan. They were actually my first ever concert. So I lost my concert virginity to One Direction, and I got to see One Direction before Zayn left. So I'm just a very lucky gal. I'm going to be showing off some of my One Direction CDs and vinyl. I say vinyl and not vinyls because I only have one. That collection will grow, I'm sure. But I obviously don't have as much One Direction memorabilia as I did, like now, as I did when I was younger or just in my One Direction era. Like, we're talking 6th grade, not even, maybe sooner, probably like 5th grade to 9th grade nekuhl. So, and in between that time span, I also moved to a different house. So things changed. I probably don't have as much of, all of the memorabilia I had. But I did, I do still like have the important things that I hold near and dear. I have all of my One Direction merch that I've ever owned still to this day. I have my original One Direction tickets. I'm wearing a One Direction shirt right now. If you are watching the podcast, I'm wearing a Drag Me Down shirt. I got this shirt in middle school. So, just to give you an idea, in the last episode, I actually wore a Midnight Memories One Direction shirt. That's why I wore this one, because I wanted to, show off that I don't just have One Direction shirt. I also have another one. It's back home. That one really doesn't fit me because it's from Justice, and I got it when I was in 5th grade, but it's a green One Direction shirt. So if you can just imagine what that looks like, there you go. Yeah, let's get into my collection really quick. I'm going to go through my CDs first and foremost. I have collected these over the years. And by over the years, one of them has been over the years. The rest of them pretty recently. So in chronological order of album, I don't have all of them. I'm missing one more. But we have Up All Night. Up all night like this all night. Hey! We have Take Me Home. Take me home. It's not even the song in that album. It's unrelated. It's a red CD. What color is Up All Night? A red CD. It's a reoccurring theme, but not anymore. I don't have Midnight Memories. That's my one CD I'm missing. I can't wait for the day that I own it because, I love that album. But I do have that I bought this in my prime time, obviously, of loving One Direction. So that's why it is the way it is. This is for the Ultimate Edition. It's just the edition that comes with the CD, and it's like a little book with pictures of the boys, and it's just photo shoot pictures that they took for the album. So it's in a different format than the rest of my CDs, but which kind of ruins the flow. But it's a special, very special CD. This one is blue. And then we have my last one, Made in the AM, which I still haven't taken out of the wrapping. But we got that bitch made in the fucking AM. They made that shit in the AM. So that is my CD collection. Here's my one vinyl from One Direction because I only learned recently that they sell vinyls. I've never seen one in my life up until recently, which is crazy because even as a fan, I never saw them. I have the One Direction 4 vinyl. It's beautiful. It has all the same pictures from the CD from the one I just showed you on the inside. The vinyls are both black though, so they're not really special or cute in any way. But yeah, that is my CD and vinyl collection dedicated to One Direction. I obviously have some Harry Styles ones, but I'm not going to factor in their solo careers into this video or this episode. It is just them as a group, as a collective. All right, I'm going to take a quick water break. Okay, Now we're going to go over some overall stats. In case you maybe didn't know this information, they have 5 studio albums. They have 17 music videos, 17 singles, 10 EPs. They have never won or been nominated for a Grammy. Here's still hoping. They have won 7 American Music Awards, 6 Billboard Music Awards, 7 Brit Awards, and the big boy of awards, the most amount of awards they have from an awards show. They have 2018 Choice Awards. In total, I think they were nominated for about like almost 200 to 300 nominations, and they won about half of that, so like 170 something. I don't have it all written down, but it's not like you listen to an artist because of how many times they were nominated or won an award, you know? It's not the main reason you listen to them. But yeah. Now we're going to go into my personal rating of the albums. Of course, as the title says, my personal opinion. So, to me, this is correct. Number 1, I'm going to hold up the albums, except I can't hold up Midnight Memories when it comes time, but for my all-time favorite One Direction album, it's going to be 4. 4 is that bitch. 4 got me through a lot. 4 just is awesome. I love it. No skips, I'd say. Yeah. Midnight Memories is number 2 on my list, which I don't have here to show you, but I absolutely love Midnight Memories. I actually had the blessing, the opportunity to go hear Midnight Memories live when I went to my first ever concert, like I said, because One Direction was my first ever concert. It was a magical night, magical evening indeed. Harry did his spitting thing. This was when he first was like just starting doing that. But yeah. Number 3 is Up All Night. Crazy that this is number 3, but it just has all the classics on it. Like, if you need a good starting point, this is their first album too, I do have to say, but if you do need a good starting point of like what One Direction sounded like right out of X Factor, this is it. I just go back to a lot of these songs. I think they're really good. So, yeah. And then these next ones are a tie because I like both of them kind of equally, honestly. I love them. I enjoy listening to them. I just couldn't bear to have one of these albums be at the bottom. So they're tied for bottom. Take Me Home and Made in the AM. Take Me Home has also a lot of bangers and a lot of hits. I think most of their singles come from the Take Me Home album, to be honest with you. Like a lot of the, like obviously the big ones that came out, or that got the most popular, but yeah, I believe this might be the one that has the most singles, because right off the bat, Live While We're Young is a single, Kiss You, Little Things. I wish Rock Me was a single, but it's not. This also has Rock Me, like, come on. Yeah, I don't know. I could be very wrong about that. I think I am wrong about that, actually. But we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to discuss that. But yeah, so those are my personal ratings of all of the albums. Of course, I do love every single one, and I listen to them not as, like, you would think One Direction's dead, like, I wouldn't listen to them that much, but girl, I do be listening. Like, I still listen to One Direction. I believe they're, like, let me check, actually, where they are in my Spotify statistics, like, of, like, top artists of all time, like, where they fall, because I know they're close. One Direction is in my top 10 most listened to artists of all time. Harry is number 8 in the list, which is crazy. So, yeah. I still listen to them a lot because I love a good banger. And the boys made bangers. So, with that being said, let's turn our attention to my next little section here. We're going to be ranking all of their singles. They have, like I mentioned previously, 17 singles, so we're going to be going through each and every one. I'm going to try and give reasoning to it, but most of it really just came from my heart. Like, it's just what I deem is correct. Obviously, agree to disagree if you don't agree. But let's go. Number 1, my favorite One Direction single is Best Song Ever. Why? Because it's the best song ever. Like, the music video is perfect. The era of the boys was perfect. It was just all around perfect. That's all I gotta say. Number 2, Midnight Memories. Just because also the time period that this came out in, like, this was the beginning of a new era of One Direction music. Like, before we knew them as, like, this young little boy band, like, they were so teen and, like so tween, like, made for, like, obviously younger girls. And then Midnight Memories came around and it's like, yeah, we're into rock. Like, we can do more than just a poppy little upbeat song or, like, slow ballad. Like, we're more than that. We can bring some heavy guitars and drums into this real fucking quick. So Midnight Memories is my number 2 choice. Number 3, Steal My Girl, mainly because Danny DeVito is in the music video, but I do like Steal My Girl. I love Zayn's high note in it. That is a reason for a lot of why some of these songs are where they are, is because of Zayn's high note in it. Number 4, History, because so sad. Yeah, we do have history. They're so right about this. I don't know how a Made in the AM song made it all the way. Well, isn't Steal My Girl in... Steal My Girl is not in Made in the AM. It is in 4. But yeah, this is the first the first Made in the AM song to appear this high up. I just listen to it often, so... Next up is Night Changes. I used to hate on Night Changes a lot just because, like, it's a slow song, so I don't really listen to it that often, but I do like the message behind it, and I really do love the music video for it. I think it might be my second favorite One Direction music video of all time. Next up is Perfect, just because of Harry's famous line of rendezvousing. Just, like, knowing what it meant in that moment when this song came out, when this album came out, like, that song was perfect. Like the name implies. Number 7, Live While We're Young, because nothing can beat the beginning, like, couple seconds of the song where it's like do 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 do. Like, that is summer. That song is summer. I love the music video, but that song is summer. I think it, like, is one of the first songs of theirs that I had listened to. And it just is good. Like, song title is so correct. We gotta live while we're young, right? Next up, Story of My Life. This, I honestly wanted to make it a lot lower in the list, but it has a lot of significance and sentimental value in it because of, the background, like, meaning of the song. But I think this one also has to do with Zayn's high note. That's why it's up here. Kiss You, number 9. I somewhat hate Kiss You because I've listened to it so many times, but the music video is good again. It just is really catchy, you know. I love that na 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 na. Like they killed it. They knew what they were doing when they made that na 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 na. Yeah. Number 10. This might be a crazy one to say, but You and I, mainly because of Zayn's high note. Like Zayn's high note is really taking it up this high on the list because the music video is okay. I'm not like crazy about it. It's pretty like low budget, kind of standard. But the high note, Zayn's high note is so killer. Number 11, Drag Me Down, as my shirt implies. I kind of hated Drag Me Down, but I grew into it, as I do with a lot of songs. But yeah, it got a little repetitive and annoying for me. So that's why it's number 11. Number 12, What Makes You Beautiful. For those of you who were worried that like there's 17 singles and I still haven't said What Makes You Beautiful, but here we go. Number 12 is What Makes You Beautiful. Why? Because I've heard What Makes You Beautiful so many times that I've reached a certain point where, like, yeah, when I hear it out in public, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're playing One Direction. But in the moment when I was a One Direction fan, it wasn't like a song I was going to all the time. It was just, their first ever single. So that's why it's so like special, but it's getting a number 12 for me. Number 13, One Thing. I also really like this music video, but it is low on the list just because, I don't know, a lot of the older songs just happen to be on the end of the list just because I really gravitated towards a lot of their newer, like pretty much anything after Midnight Memories was pretty solid, and I loved it a lot more than Take Me Home and Up All Night. So that's why they're so low on this list. Hold on, give me 1 second. Sorry for those watching. It literally just said movie recording stopped. It didn't even say why. But yeah, now that you can see my face, let's keep going. Number 14 is More Than This. I actually just re-listened to the song again today just to solidify its place in this list. I do love the song, don't get me wrong, but it's really not that crazy. Number 15, Gotta Be You, because who in their right mind is ever craving Gotta Be You? Maybe like as a joke, once in a blue moon, I'll be like, oh my god, yeah, let me play Gotta Be You as a joke. But I'm never like, oh, I really love that song. Number 16, this is going to be crazy, but Little Things. I actually don't really like Little Things at all. I know it has like a big significance for a lot of fans, and everyone really, really likes it, and they love listening to it. They have an emotional attachment to the song, but I personally don't agree, and that is just the way the world works, okay? Gosh. Number 17, the last single I'm rating. My my least favorite One Direction single is One Way or Another. God, I hate this song so much. I just like heard it everywhere to the point where it's like, it's like one of those songs that you hear a lot to the point where you start hating it. Like I can listen to so many One Direction songs and never get to this point, but with One Way or Another, I got to that point. I did not like this song. I'm never craving this song either. Like every time this song comes on, immediate skip. I will never listen to this song in full. It is not one of my favorite songs. Speaking of, let's talk about my favorite songs. I didn't write a lot of things. Obviously, my all-time favorite song, which I share this favorite song with a lot of other people, it's Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is my all-time favorite One Direction song. It's so fucking good. It has no issues with it whatsoever. It is a perfect song through and through. And I will go to my grave with this thought in my head, like, with this belief. Number 2 might shock you because it's not an actual One Direction song. It is a cover of another song. But their Teenage Dirtbag cover is so fucking good. I love it. I crave it. I go out of my way to listen to it on YouTube because it's not on Spotify. The day it will be on Spotify, I'm gonna be so fucking happy because, like, it might make its way up to my, like, top 100. Like, I love that song so much. I love their cover. I think they did a really good job with the cover. And that's it. When I watch the This Is Us movie, I love when they do, like, the Teenage Dirtbag cover. It's perfect. For some reason, I put Same Mistakes is up there, but not, like, ranked. It's just, like, up there on my faves just because of the amount of emotion it holds. I just think it's, like a really crazy song. That and Moments, like, they're both in the same, like, spectrum for me. They're crazy. I can't believe they made songs like that. Midnight Memories has no skips. That's what I said on here. Neither does 4. I agree. I think if I were to pick one over the other, 4 has no skips. Midnight Memories has some skips, but, you know, we let it play just because we're nice. But yeah, that is, like, everything I've written down. I honestly didn't think that me talking this much about it, like, I thought with the amount of things I'd written down that this episode wouldn't be that long, but I managed to find a way to make it long, and I'm proud of myself for that because I could go on and on about One Direction. I love them. And it just proves I still have some love for One Direction in me, and I love that. So that is going to be the end of today's episode, or this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For those of you that don't listen to One Direction, will you give One Direction a try now? I mean, like, I don't know. I hope I sold you enough on it. I wish I could play their music to, like, turn you over, but I don't think legally, copyright-wise, I can do that. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I will see you guys in the next episode. I'm really looking forward to finishing the semester of college and getting it over with. I'm sick and tired of it. So I hope y'all are on the same boat because I need it all to be over with. I will see you guys in the next episode. Please give me recommendations if you have any. That's why this episode is One Direction to begin with. It doesn't have anything to do with you guys. I just ran out of ideas really quickly, like, briefly for this week. I just didn't know what to talk about. I'm thinking of, like, taking a little break at some point during May. So I will let you guys know. But till then, see you in next week's episode. Have a great weekend, a great week. Stay sexy. Listen to One Direction. Bye-bye.